Kibowasco matter is still pending. The WSP as a company secretary who has not been cooperative, forcing the shareholders to call for an AGM to address the matter. That appears on page 7. We found a very uncooperative company secretary who we are trying to trace.
Who is this? Who is this? Is he a law firm? Is he an individual? What is the identity of this person?
Is an individual, Chair.
Please, Chair, can the engineer just give the names?
The name.
What are the names of that person?
The identity was not even disclosed in the minutes, but the CEO is checking his name, but that is the report I have.
Engineer, you don't know your company secretary?
We'll check and provide by end of this session, Chair, please.
No, Chair, we do not want to proceed without the details of that person, because the county cannot appear, or the water management, without where it has been so difficult on this person.
On searches at the company's registry, we realize that this gentleman is a company secretary of many water companies, not just Makueni alone. And for some very nefarious reasons, this gentleman has made it very difficult to hand over a substantive, there's a word that this chief officer used, hand over either passwords, entry, and become very difficult even at the company's registry to change his name.
You know, our concern is that who is this person who is so powerful that the county government cannot touch?
The name as per CR12 is Njoroge Obadia Kimani. Njoroge Obadia Kimani.
What is his number? Under the county secretaries?
His CPS number is not here.
Whatever that particular person is doing is hinged into criminal activities. I believe statements should have been written and this particular person prosecuted. There should have been reports to the DCI so that the same person is prosecuted. And obviously, the commencement of prosecution, the person is automatically supposed to step aside from being a company secretary.
But when it became apparent that we could not remove this ourselves from the records at the company's registry, it became apparent that the county attorney then advised for a board meeting to be called for him to be formally removed for purposes of presentation at the company's registry.
And recommendations were given last year, 2023. Governor, these minutes are for 19th August 2024, which is last week, is when the board was able to sit and have only one agenda of removing the so-called powerful per secretary. Why is this just for last week, or was it just because you are appearing before this committee, you decide to do this very quickly for the sake of it?
This is somebody who is coming out as a ghost worker and at the same time as a fraudulent person. Even the CEO had difficulties getting to know an officer of the county. So I think this is a matter which should be taken very urgently, most probably this is a person who has not been working for the county properly.
You know, a company secretary is supposed to be a member of the certified public secretaries. So I don't know what effort you did to report this unknown person to the relevant professional body for disciplinary action.
We have not reported. Okay, let me speak for myself. We haven't started the process of reporting him for any misconduct, because when I read these minutes last week, I realized they had not reported any form of misconduct. The installation of a ready-to-drink line took longer than expected, affecting the process of transferring ownership of all assets related to the authority.
And from the report given now, is a high time. It started having its own assets and started making business because it's supposed to be a business venture.
PFM Act 109 states that the county treasurer for each county shall ensure that all monies raised or received on behalf of the county government is paid into the CRF account, except money that may, in accordance with the other legislation or act of county, be retained by the county entity which received it, for purposes, of course, of managing its own expenses.
The company makes money and then it is spent in the executive. Assets have not been transferred from the county government to the authority. So I think asset transfers should be done, and the amounts that are made by this company should actually not be transferred to the county government.
I note that legislation is there, but the officers, the executives like you don't seem to focus on adhering to what the Act clearly states.
You know, if you take money to CRF, how do you now, if you have expenditure to make, how do you expend the money for the authority?
Where there's no any active act, cushioning or rather separating that entity from taking money to the CRF, it is automatically then becomes a default that money must go to the CRF. Which in this case, there is no any act that I've read here that says that you must keep the money.
The auditor, you confirmed that the loss was 59 million. True or false?
True.
Thank you. And that's why I was following that procedure to get to know, are these people still within the authority, the company, the fruit company?
We have a new board, we have a new CEO, we have a new finance person.
Is that the reason maybe you fired them because of the 59 million loss? Or why? What happened? What brought about the 59 million loss?
I didn't find them actually.
But are you aware of the loss?
Yes, I'm aware of the loss.
So my curiosity was what triggered this? Because this loss is so huge.
So the difference between the amount budgeted to buy the puree and the amount paid to farmers for their mangoes and the sale of that puree is what resulted in the losses.